Okay. So I created a little video here going through some sample problems, looking at parallel questions that go along with the Google Form assessments for lesson 5 and 6 in systems. So the first thing talks about elimination. It's elimination and problem solving. With elimination, what we first have to do is look at the coefficients of the variables. Here we have 2x plus 3y, x plus 2y. We want to make sure we have similar coefficients. Right now we don't. So in order to solve this, we're going to have to multiply the second phrase by 2. Now remember, you have to multiply everything by 2 in order to solve the equation. So here we get 2x plus 4y equals 12. Now we can use both these equations, that one and that one, and we can use elimination. Now I have a 2x and a 2x, so I want to remove a 2x, so I'm going to have to subtract one from the other. So let's set that up. Here we go. 2x plus 3y equals 12, and 2x plus 4y equals 12. And I'm going to subtract because I want to get rid of that x. So 2x minus 2x equals 0x, 3y minus 4y equals minus y, and 12 minus 12 equals 0. Now I divide both sides by a -1 to get rid of that negative. Doesn't really matter. Y equals 0. So that's my y value. So I can take that and substitute it in to the next variable, next equation, and solve for my x value. So I'm going to substitute in, that's plus sign. 3 times 0 equals 12. So I get 2x equals 12. So I divide both sides by 2. X equals 6. Okay. So that means my solution is 6, 0. Yay. And I can take that solution, substitute it into the other equation just to check. Mentally, I can check it right now. If y equals 0, then really it's 6 plus 0 equals 6. And that's correct. Okay. It's always good to verify your answers. Now, the first question in the Google form talks about first steps. So important thing to remember is we need the same coefficients on one of the variables, so numerical coefficient. You could have a positive or negative, like a +2 and a -2, but it still has to be the same coefficient. So for this first one, I do have that because with our x, in the first one I have a positive x, and the second one I have a negative x. So my first step, I don't have to multiply it or anything. My first step is simply to add both of these together. And the reason I can add is because one is positive, one's negative. So if I add them together, it's going to subtract out the x. So our first step is to add the two together. Looking at this next one, scrolling up here. Now here I don't have the same coefficients. I have a 2x and an x and a 3y and a -2y. So my first step is to get the same coefficient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get a 2 on that x. And to do that, I've got to multiply it by 2. So that's my first step. I'm going to multiply it by 2. We got to remember to distribute it, multiply everything by it. So that's my first step. Multiply the second expression by 2. Okay. Now, third one, I have a 2x minus y, or 3y, and a 2x plus y equals 17. So I have a 2 in front of the x. They're both positive, so I want to get rid of them. So my first step is going to be subtract the second expression from the first. You can subtract the first from the second as well. Either way will get you your answer. But here we're going to say we're going to subtract the second expression from the first. Okay. This question is all about just what you do first. So you really have to kind of look at what's going on before you make that determination. Okay. Now the next 3 questions are all problem solving. But that's for steps. So here we go, problem solving. So one number is 3 larger than another number. When 3 times the smaller number is added to 2 times the larger number, their sum is 11. What are the 2 numbers? What is their sum? So we're going to have to set variables for those numbers. So we have, I like to use x and y. So x is the first number and y is the second number. Then we say one number is 3 larger than the other. So that means if that x is going to be y plus 3. That would assume that x is the larger number and y is the smaller number. The other expression is when 3 times the smaller number is added to 2 times the larger number, the sum is 11. So 3 times y is the smaller number, plus 2 times the larger number is x, is equal to 11. The hard part is writing those equations. Once we have them, then we can start to solve. Okay. So we're going to, and I don't know why it's so slow. We're going to rewrite this so that we have the variables lined up correctly. So x minus y equals 3, and then writing the second, wait, I want to line them up, so I'm going to erase that. Just give me a second here. I want to line them up. So 2x plus 3y, because it's plus 9, it doesn't matter the order. And then we want the same coefficients. So if I multiply the first one by 2, now, and we've got to distribute that. Sorry about that. So we get 2x, we're going to distribute that to everything. 2x, okay. Now, if you can just hold on for a second, I made an error here, and in a few seconds I'm going to fix it. So ignore what's being written in black right now, because I'm going to do this solution and find out the answer, and it's going to be wrong, and I'm going to erase it all and go back. So just ignore it for right now, okay? It's going to be pretty quick, where I figure out that I made an error. It will be funny, but if you can just bear with me. I don't know how to advance the video without going through it all. Hope everything's going well. So it's in a moment I discover my error. And if you can find my error right now, kudos to you. It's basically that says 2x plus minus 2y equals 3. I forgot to distribute the 2 to the 3. So in a moment, I'm going to discover that, and I'm going to, there's the eraser, erase the whole thing. All right, here we go. Let's do this correctly. So hopefully we ignored that. Now this is the correct thing. So it's going to be 2x minus 2y equals 6. And then we get the other expression, 2x plus 3y equals 11. Now we 2x and 2x, so we can subtract to get rid of the x's. So we get 0x. Negative 2 minus 3y is negative 5y. 6 minus 11 is negative 5. We're going to divide both sides by negative 5. So y is equal to 1. Now we can take that and we can go back into the equation, one of the other equations, and solve. I'm going to actually put it into the 3y plus 2x equals 11, because the other one's easier to use as your verification. So 3y plus 2x equals 11. That's 3 times 1 plus 2x equals 11. So 3 plus 2x equals 11. We move the 3 over, and we get 2x equals 8. So x equals 4. Now, this is the verification. If we look at the first equation, x equals y plus 3, 4 does indeed equal 1 plus 3. So it's an easy way to check that. Okay? Yay. All right. That's the number one. The next one is the cost of 3 sodas and 5 bags of chips is $7.50. This is a parallel question to question 3 on your Google form. The cost of 2 sodas and 10 bags of chips is $10 even. What do they cost a piece? The first thing we need to do is set a variable for our sodas and our chips. So I like X and Y, so sodas equal X and chips equal Y. So we're just going to lay these out based on the equation. 3 times X, 3 sodas, and 5 bags of chips, 5 times Y is equal to $7.50. 2 sodas, 2X, plus 10Y, 10 bags of chips, is equal to $10 even. Now, I don't have the same coefficients, so I'm going to have to multiply one of them to get the same coefficients. I've got a 5Y and a 10Y, so if I multiply that first one by 2, I will get a 10Y in that one as well. So let's write that out. 6X plus 10Y equals $7.50. And all I did was distribute that 2 to everything in that first equation. So 6X plus 10Y equals $15. And then I use my second equation as given. Now I have a 10Y and a 10Y, so I'm going to subtract because they're the positive. So I get 4X equals, or plus 0Y equals $5. And then I divide, so that's 4X equals $5. Divide both sides by 4. So X equals 125. Okay. Now I'm going to substitute to find the other one using my equation. 3X plus 5Y equals 750. I know X is 125. So substitute that in and solve for Y. So 3 times 125 is 375 plus 5Y equals 750. Move the 375 over. So 750 subtract 375 will give me 375. And divide both sides by 5. And I get Y is equal to 75 cents. So I have my chips and I got my sodas. There we go. And I can use the other equation to verify. Okay. Alrighty. So let's look at the next question. You always should verify though. Now this one's this is just to get a peek of it. This is a money question. So Beck has 35 dimes and nickels in total. Total value of the coins is $2.30. How many dimes does he have? So dimes we're going to say is X, and nickels we'll say is Y. Okay. I have 35 in total, so that means X plus Y equals 35. And now I have to think about how much a dime is. A dime is 10 cents or 0.10. So 0.10X plus a nickel is 0.05. 0.05Y equals $2.30. Now, I have to solve for this. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to do substitution instead of elimination. You can use either method. So X is equal to 35 minus Y. So I'm going to take this value for X and I'm going to substitute it in for the X in the other equation so that now I only have Y's. So 0.10 instead of X, I have 35 minus Y plus 0.05Y equals 230. I'm going to distribute that 0.10. So I get 3.5 minus 0.1Y plus 0.05Y equals 230. Let's combine our like terms. So 3.5, I've got minus 0.1 and 0.05, so I'm going to have minus 0.05. Oops, made a mistake. 0.5. 0.5. Y equals 230. Move the 3.5 over by subtracting. So I get negative 0.05y. 230 minus 3.5 is negative 1.20. So divide by that. If I divide 1.20, negative 1.20 by negative 0.05, I get 24. Now I have the number of nickels. So I go back to my other equation. X plus y equals 35. I'm just changing color for clarity. X plus y equals 35. X plus 24 equals 35. So X must equal 11. So what does that mean? It means I have 11 dimes and 24 nickels. And you can do the math and figure out that if you have 24 5-cent pieces plus 11 10-cent pieces, you have $2.30. Hopefully you can do that to check. Okay, well, let me know if you need more help with this. They do parallel pretty nicely. So hopefully that will give you what you need. Okay.